Hello, my name is Pastor Kathy Kollar. I am the pastor of Pleasant Valley Lutheran Church near Malabar Farm and St. Paul Lutheran Church in Lucas, Ohio. Greetings. We are reading through the Bible with commentary. We are through the first 5 books and into the book of Joshua. And the Israelites, have crossed the Jordan, have defeated many of the Canaanites, but not all. This has not been instantaneous. It's been some time now, maybe a few years even, that they have lived in the promised land, and now they are dividing up the territory. So yesterday we read about Judah receiving their territory, as well as Reuben and Gad, and Manasseh, a half tribe, got theirs on the east side of the Jordan, and then the people from Judah are in the very southern part of Israel. A very large tribe, very prominent tribe, got theirs first, and now we're going to hear a bunch of other city names and a bunch of other things. I'm hoping to get through 4 chapters. Now, some of them are pretty short, but this is going to be difficult because there's just a lot of place names. But if we're going to read through the whole Bible, then we're going to read through the whole Bible, and we'll see what we can pull out. But it's basically starting from the southern part of Israel and going north. So the very southern part is the tribe of Judah. Right above them is the tribe of Benjamin, which includes the city of the Jebusites, which eventually will become Jerusalem, and then Ephraim, and then the rest of the tribes. So later on, Israel is going to break into a northern and southern kingdom. Judah and Benjamin are southern kingdom, and everybody else pretty much is the northern kingdom. And of course, the tribes east of the Jordan. So chapter 16, the allotment of the Josephites, that is, those are the people from the tribe of Joseph, which were divided into Manasseh and Ephraim, went from the Jordan by Jericho, east of the waters to Jericho, into the wilderness, going up from Jericho into the hill country to Bethel. Then going from Bethel to Luz, it passes along to Ataroth, the territory of the Archites. Then it goes down westward to the territory of the Japhilites, as far as the territory of lower Beth Horon, then to Gezer, and it ends at the sea. The Josephites, Manasseh and Ephraim, received their inheritance. Their territory of the Ephraimites by their territories, by their families, was as follows. The boundary of their inheritance on the east was at Arothadar, as far as upper Behoron, and the boundary goes from there to the sea. On the north is Mikmetha, and then on the east the boundary makes a turn toward Taanath Shiloh, then passes along beyond it to the east to Janoah. Then it goes down from Janoah to Ataroth and to Nearah, and it touches Jericho, ending at the Jordan. From Tapua, the boundary goes westward to the Wadi Cana and ends at the sea. Such is the inheritance of the tribe of Ephraimites by their families, together with the towns that were set apart for the Ephraimites within the inheritance of the Manassites, all those towns with their villages. They did not, however, drive out the Canaanites who lived in Gezer, so the Canaanites have lived within Ephraim to this day, but have been made to do forced labor. So they didn't manage to get rid of all the Canaanites. Instead, they put them to work. Chapter. I'm just tripping all over this evening. Chapter 17. Then allotment was made to the tribe of Manasseh, for he was the firstborn of Joseph. To Machir, the firstborn of Manasseh, the father of Gilead, were allotted Gilead and Bashan, because he was a warrior, and allotments were made to the rest of the tribe of Manasseh by their families. Abiezer, Helek, Azriel, Shechem, Hepher, and Shemida. These were the male descendants of Manasseh, son of Joseph, by their families. Verse 3. Now Zelophehad, son of Hepher, son of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, had no sons, but only daughters. And these are the names of his daughters, Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. They came before the priest Eleazar and Joshua son of Nun and the leaders and said, The Lord commanded Moses to give us an inheritance along with our male kin. So according to the commandment of the Lord, he gave them an inheritance among the kinsmen of their father. Thus there fell to Manasseh 10 portions, besides the land of Gilead and Bashan, which is on the other side of the Jordan, because the daughters of Manasseh received an inheritance along with his sons. The land of Gilead was allotted to the rest of the Manassites. Verse 7, the territory of Manasseh reached from Asher to Michmetheth, which is east of Shechem. Then the boundary goes along southward to the inhabitants of Tappuah. The land of Tappuah belonged to Manasseh, but the town of Tappuah on the boundary of Manasseh belonged to the Ephraimites. Then the boundary went down to the Wadi Kana. The towns here to the south of the Wadi, among the towns of Manasseh, belong to Ephraim. Then the boundary of Manasseh goes along the north side of the Wadi and ends at the sea. The land to the south is Ephraim's, and that to the north is Manasseh's, with the sea forming its boundary. Now, which sea is that? I think that means the Dead Sea. On the north, Asher is reached. On the east, Issachar. Within Issachar and Asher, Manasseh had Bethshean and its villages, Ibleam and its villages, the inhabitants of Dor and its villages, the inhabitants of Endor and its villages, the inhabitants of Taanach and its villages, the inhabitants of Megiddo and its villages. The third is Naphath. Yet the Manassites could not take possession of those towns, but the Canaanites continued to live in that land. But when the Israelites grew strong, they put the Canaanites to forced labor, but did not utterly drive them out. So Manasseh, the tribe from Joseph, is divided into Manasseh and Ephraim, and they're kind of right next to each other. Verse 14, the tribe of Joseph spoke to Joshua, saying, Why have you given me but one lot and one portion as an inheritance, since we are a numerous people, whom all along the Lord has blessed? And Joshua said to them, If you are a numerous people, go up to the forest and clear ground there for yourselves in the land of the Perizzites and the Rephaim, since the hill country of Ephraim is too narrow for you. The tribe of Joseph said, The hill country is not enough for us, yet all the Canaanites who live in the plain have chariots of iron, both those in Bethshean and its villages, and those in the valley of Jezreel. Then Joshua said to the house of Joseph, to Ephraim and Manasseh, You are indeed a numerous people, and have great power. You shall not have one lot only, but the hill country shall be yours. For though it is a forest, you shall clear it and possess it to its farthest borders. For you shall drive out the Canaanites, though they have chariots of iron, and though they are strong. So there's a footnote in the Bible that basically says the chariots are not solid iron. They're made of wood, but they have iron cladding to protect them from being hurt by attack. Chapter 18. Then the whole congregation of the Israelites assembled at Shiloh and set up the tent of meeting there. The land lay subdued before them. There remained among the Israelites 7 tribes whose inheritance had not yet been apportioned. So Joshua said to the Israelites, How long will you be slack about going in and taking possession of the land that the Lord, the God of your ancestors, has given you? Provide 3 men from each tribe, and I will send them out, that they may begin to go throughout the land, writing a description of it with a view to their inheritance. Then come back to me. They shall divide it into 7 portions, Judah continuing in its territory on the south, and the house of Joseph in their territory on the north. You shall describe the land in 7 divisions, and bring the description here to me, and I will cast lots for you here before the Lord our God. The Levites have no portion among you, for the priesthood of the Lord is their inheritance, and Gad and Reuben and the half-tribe of Manasseh have received their inheritance beyond the Jordan eastward, which Moses the servant of the Lord gave them. Verse 8, So the men started on their way, and Joshua charged those who went to write the description of the land, saying, Go throughout the land and write a description of it, and come back to me, and I will cast lots for you here before the Lord in Shiloh. So the men went and traversed the land, and set down in a book a description of it by towns in 7 divisions. And they came back to Joshua in the camp at Shiloh, And Joshua cast lots for them in Shiloh before the Lord. And there Joshua apportioned the land to the Israelites, to each a portion. So the remaining tribes, they've sent out 3 from each tribe to go and make a survey and describe the land. So then divide it into 7 pieces, and then they can apportion it out. Verse 11, the lot of the tribe of Benjamin, according to its families, came up, and the territory allotted to it fell between the tribe of Judah and the tribe of Joseph. On the north side of their boundary began at the Jordan. Then the boundary goes up to the slope of Jericho on the north, then up through the hill country westward, and it ends at the wilderness of Beth-aven. From there the boundary passes along southward in the direction of Luz, to the slope of Luz, that is Bethel. Then the boundary goes down to Ataroth-adar, and on the mountain that lies south of lower Beth-horon. Then the boundary goes in another direction, turning on the western side southward from the mountain that lies to the south, opposite Beth-horon, and ends at Kiriath Baal, that is Kiriath Jearim, a town belonging to the tribe of Judah. This forms the western side. The southern side begins at the outskirts of Kiriath Jearim, and the boundary goes from there to Ephron, to the spring of the waters of Nephtoah. Then the boundary goes down to the border of the mountain that overlooks the valley of the son of Hinnom, which is at the north end of the valley of Rephaim. Then it goes down the valley of Hinnom, south to the slope of the Jebusites, and downward to En-rogel. Then it bends in a northerly direction, going on toward En-shemesh. From there it goes to Galiloth, which is opposite the ascent of Adumim. Then it goes down to the stone of Bohan, Reuben's son, and passing on to the north of the slope at Beth-arabah, it goes down to the Arabah. Then the boundary passes on to the north of the slope of Beth-hoglah, and the boundary ends at the northern bay of the Dead Sea, at the south end of the Jordan. This is its southern border. The Jordan forms its boundary on the eastern side. This is the inheritance of the tribe of Benjamin, according to its families, boundary by boundary, all around. So just like even now, but especially back then, the boundaries are lakes and rivers, mountaintops, mountain edges, ridges. That's pretty much how people have done boundaries and borders for the longest time, until we get to the United States and we say, let's make a straight line and let's make another straight line. But most of the time, people follow the rivers, the lakes. Verse 21, now the towns of the tribe of Benjamin, according to their families, were Jericho, Beth-hoglah, Emekizas, Beth-arabah, Arabah, Samarian, Bethel, Avim, Para, Ophrah, Chepharamona, Chepharammoni, Ophni, and Geba, 12 towns and their villages, Gibeon, Ramah, Beeroth, Mizpah, Chephirah, Moza, Rechem, Irpeel, Tar-alah, Zelah, Harileth, Jebus, that is Jerusalem. So anytime you see Jebus or Jebusites or Jebus, that is Jerusalem. But at this point, it's not Jerusalem yet. It's Jebus. Gibeah and Kiriath Jearim, 14 towns with their villages. This is the inheritance of the tribe of Benjamin according to its families. Chapter 19. The second lot came out for Simeon. For the tribe of Simeon, according to its families, its inheritance lay within the inheritance of the tribe of Judah. So within the tribe of Judah, for it had its inheritance Beersheba, Sheba, Molada, Hazar, Shual, Baal, Ezim, Altolad, Bethel, Hormah, Ziklag, Beth-markaboth, Hazar Susha, Beth-lebaoth, and Sharuhen, 13 towns with their villages, Ain, Rimmon, Ether, and Ashan, 4 towns with their villages, together with all the villages around these towns as far as Baalath-beer, Ramah of the Negev. This was the inheritance of the tribe of Simeon according to its families. The inheritance of the tribe of Simeon formed part of the territory of Judah. Because the portion of the tribe of Judah was too large for them, the tribe of Simeon obtained an inheritance within their inheritance. So apparently, as they started to divide it all out, they said, wait. We gave too much to Judah. We're going to give some of it to Simeon. Verse 10, the third lot came up for the tribe of Zebulun according to its families. The boundary of its inheritance reached as far as Sarid. Then its boundary goes up westward and on to Maralah and touches Dabbesheth. Then the wadi that is east of Jokneam. From Sarid, it goes in the other direction eastward toward the sunrise to the boundary of Chisloth Tabor. From there it goes down to Daberath and then up to Japhiah. Then it passes along to the east along the sunrise to Gath-Hepher, to Ethkazin, and going on to Rimmon, it bends toward Neah. Then on the north, the boundary makes a turn at Hanathon and ends at the valley of Iftael and Kata, Nahalal, Shimron, Idalah, and Bethlehem, 12 towns with their villages. This is the inheritance of the tribe of Zebulun according to its families, these towns with their villages. Verse 17, the fourth lot came out for Issachar, for the tribe of Issachar according to its families. Its territory included Jezreel, Chesuloth, Shunem, Hapharaim, Shion, Anaharath, Rabbath, Kishion, Ebez, Remeth, and Ganin, and Haddah, Beth-Pazzez. The boundary also touches Tabor, Shahuzuma, and Beth-Shemesh, and its boundary ends at the Jordan, 16 towns with their villages. This is the inheritance of the tribe of Issachar, according to its families, the towns with their villages. And as I've said before, and I often say to the people that want to read in my churches, it was 3,000 years ago in a completely different language, an ancient version of Hebrew. No matter how I pronounce it, I am not pronouncing it the way that they pronounced it back in the day. So I try to get them right, but there is no one right way to pronounce all of these places. And many of these places, we don't even know where they are anymore. As towns, they've just been completely gone 2,000 years ago. It's just so much older, so much more ancient than we can really grasp sometimes. But when it comes to reading names, we do the best we can. We recognize it's a translation from ancient Hebrew. My Bible has a bunch of diacritical marks and accent marks, and it's not actually making it any easier, but I'm trying to get it right if I can. But we're almost through. A little bit more of this chapter, and we'll get on to something else, I think. Verse 24. The fifth lot came out for the tribe of Asher according to its families. Its boundary included Helkath, Halai, Beton, Akshaph, Alamelech, Ahmed, and Mishal. On the west it touches Carmel and Shihor-Libnath. Then it turns eastward, goes toward Beth-Dagon, and touches Zebulun and the valley of Iftael, northward to Beth-Emek and Neiel. Then it continues to the north to Cabel, Ebron, Rehob, Hamam, Cana, as far as the great Sidon. Then the boundary turns toward Ramah, reaching to the fortified city of Tyre. Then the boundary runs to Hosah and ends at the sea. Nehalab, Achzib, Umah, Aphek, and Rehob, 22 towns with their villages. This is the inheritance of the tribe of Asher, according to its families, these towns with their villages. So a town would be one that actually has walls and a gate. The villages would have been much smaller, but around the town. So if there was some kind of invasion, the people from the villages could go to the town to be inside of the walls, but they're not, even then, they're not probably huge. Verse 32, the sixth lot came out for the tribe of Naphtali, according to its families, and its boundary ran from Heleph, from the oak in Zaananim, to Amianekeb, to Jabaniel, as far as Lachum, and it ended at the Jordan. Then the boundary turns westward to Asnath Tabor and goes from there to Hukok, touching Zebulun at the south and Asher to the west and Judah on the east at the Jordan. The fortified towns are Ziddim, Zur, Hamath, Rakath, Chinnereth, Adamah, Ramah, Hazor, Kedesh, Edrei, and Hazor, Iron, Migdal, Horam, and Beth Anath, and Beth Shemesh, 19 towns with their villages. This is the inheritance of the tribe of Naphtali, according to its families, the towns with their villages. Verse 40. The seventh lot came out for the tribe of Dan, according to its families. The territory of its inheritance included Zorah, Eshtaol, Shemesh, Shealabin, Aijalon, Ithla, Elon, Timnah, Ikron, Eltika, Gibbethon, Baalath, Jehud, Benabirek, Gathrimnon, Mijarkon, and Rakon at the border opposite Joppa. When the territory of the Danites was lost to them, the Danites went up and fought against Leshem, and after capturing it and putting it to the sword, they took possession of it and settled in it, calling Leshem Dan, after their ancestor Dan. This is the inheritance of the tribe of Dan, according to their families, these towns with their villages. Verse 49. When they had finished distributing the several territories of the land as inheritances, the Israelites gave an inheritance among them to Joshua son of Nun, and that's spelled N-U-N. By command of the Lord, they gave him the town that he asked for, Timnath-Serah in the hill country of Ephraim. He rebuilt the town and settled in it. These are the inheritance that the priest Eleazar and Joshua son of Nun and the heads of the families of the tribes of the Israelites distributed by lot at Shiloh before the Lord at the entrance of the tent of meeting. So they finished dividing the land. So we have finished 2 long, difficult. I'm sure that I have messed up some of the pronunciations. I'm kind of tripping over my words even without having to try to pronounce all of these ancient cities and towns. But we do our best. And if we're going to read through the whole Bible, we're going to read through the whole Bible. And what can we draw from this? Well, that they have finally subdued enough that they are starting to move into the land, that they are in the land by tribe, although from the census that we read earlier, the tribes are thousands of people, and that we have Judah down in the south and Benjamin, and then we have the other tribes that are kind of in the northern part, and 2.5 tribes on the east side of the Jordan River. But they've now been assigned their land, and so they're going to start settling in their land. And part of how they were assigned the land was by lot. And we don't know exactly how lots worked. It was 3,000 years ago. We know that they had 2 things called Urim and Thummim, but was it like the short straw? Was it like odd and even? Was it, yes, it was like a magic 8 ball? Any kind of thing that you ever do to randomly assign something, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, doing baseball, all these bubblegum in a dish, all these wonderful ways that we have to randomly assign things to people. Somehow they did a lot, and they drew names, and as the first lot went to, and the second lot and the third lot. So this is what they just did, was to parcel out the land. So they did a survey, they divided it into 7 pieces. They realized the piece for Judah was way too big, so they took some of that, and it went with the first lot, which went to I think the first lot, and to second lot to Simeon. But now they've divided up the territory, and not everybody has been conquered. The Canaanites are still there, the Philistines are still there, and there are going to be problems as we read into the future. But they're starting to move in, they're starting to settle. Caleb has been given his own, Joshua has been given his own. The 5 women that were the daughters of Zelophehad were given an inheritance as well. So that's pretty radical at the time, to let the women inherit too. So Now may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord look at you with favor and give you peace. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Like, subscribe, comment. Thank you so much for being here. See you again tomorrow.